LEONA Top. A pick that sounds completely troll for sure, since how is a champion whose kit only consists of CC spells going to deal any kind of damage? Well, when you have a specific item, Leona is capable to win someone v1 fights against specific champions.
Hello.
Thanks to her tankiness and the item dealing damage over time. But how is she going to get through the tough laning phase? Well, because of that. It appeals to the lowest human instincts of a League of Legends player, making them commit to the stupidest play they can do with the current situation. No one can resist it. Making use of the boredom they get during the laning phase and the greed for 300 gold that seems so easy to get by hitting one spell. But it only results into one thing. In their own death.
Okay.
This bait and some different strategies allow Leona to gain more and more gold, turning her into a massive tank during the late game and into a solid 1v1 champion. It only took her about 45 seconds to get a kill. And that's why Leona is getting underestimated by most enemy champions, since no one expects her to deal this much damage. But let's start step by step how to execute Leona Top perfectly during the laning phase and make the best possible use of the bait strategy. At level 1, Leona Top is surprisingly strong with her Doran shield and the Q stun. It allows her to stun the enemy with her next basic attack, giving her the option to hit them several times. Additionally to that, the Q spell is also an auto attack reset, so you have a solid trade pattern with auto attack, Q, auto attack reset. But the most important thing is that you back off after this combo, since you are going to lose a fight on the long term against top laners who took Conqueror with them. Just get your grasp stack and get the fuck out of there. It will only take a few seconds until you reach level 2, and here is where your bait strategy starts, since from now on I won't recommend to go in for trades as a Leona Top. Just unlock your W spell, which grants her with some additional armor and magic resistances for the next 3 seconds, and at the end it finishes off with a It is one of the most important abilities for the bait strategy later in this video. But for now, your main focus should be to get as much farm as possible in order to rush for the first item. That turns the lane dominance in your own favor. When you lose too much HP, just return to your base and teleport back to lane. Last but not least, you should make sure to put a skill point into the E spell, which is one of the easiest engages in this game. A hook that can get through minions and roots the enemy for 0.5 seconds.
Let me tell you something.
This is not very useful at this stage of the game. Only for one specific thing, which is one of Leona's biggest strengths, because she won't let the enemy escape from their guaranteed death. But we will come back to that later in this video. During the laning phase, this hook can be used as a tool to secure kills, since it deals some magic damage when Leona managed to hit the enemy with this spell, and it's the only tool in her kit that has some range.
Ooh, that's kind of small.
Just pretend that you are running away so you can surprise him with a gray screen. Oh wait, did I just say that her E spell is the only tool in her kit that has some range? Well, that wasn't correct, since Leona also has her own just without the huge damage part, but with some CC, depending in which area the enemy is standing, you can slow them by 80% or even stun them when they get hit by the middle part. And this right here is the moment where we can make use of our great bait strategy. As you have already witnessed, Leona's laning phase is quite horrible. She can't trade because she will lose every goddamn fight. Her damage just sucks, and the only thing you can do is going for some short trades. Get your grasp proc and go back, and just wait and do nothing. Well, maybe get some last hits off, but just stay there and witness your opponent getting impatient. He will step up sometimes to make some trades, but that will just result into some health lost for him thanks to my tower. Well, why is he so close at my tower anyway? Because of the minion wave. Leona's wave clear sucks, which results into the wave getting pushed into your direction throughout the whole game. But her tankiness allows Leona to freeze the wave right in front of her tower without getting too much damage in return. The only thing you have to press is W and stun your opponent to prevent him from chasing you. This allows the wave to freeze in front of the tower throughout the whole game, and since you are losing all the trades, you are quite low as well, baiting the enemy even more to commit for a tower dive. The thing is, most people underestimate the crazy tankiness Leona has. She can survive for a ridiculous amount of time, so people are going to die while you are losing 5% of your health bar. The thing is, once you have committed for this dive, the turret is going to shoot at you. And the problem is, Leona has a kit consisting of 3 different stunts. So you will experience a bunch of idiots trying to dive you but getting CC instead and receive about 5 turret shots resulting into their own death. And no one in this silver elo can resist it. The boring laning phase, consisting out of 15 minutes perma-farming and the winning trades for the enemy resulting into a Leona with low health standing under her turret. This combination will turn the enemy into a greedy goblin, turning his brain off since the only thing he sees is the juicy 300 gold he is going to receive. Well, in reality, I am the one who is going to receive that paycheck. But there are more than enough moments where Leona isn't low on health and you can't expect your laning opponent to be that stupid and go for a tower dive again. Well, in that case, Leona still has a great plan on her sleeve.
This is big brain time.
Let's rewind a bit. As already told, Leona has the best condition and kit to freeze the lane right in front of her tower, forcing the enemy to get away from his own turret. These kind of wave state lures a specific creature to your lane. The jungler. Leona Top is a champion with a great gank setup, obviously because of her CC spell and the capability to stick to the enemy. And she is obviously stronger when there is an ally nearby. I don't know why, like she is almost made to be played on a lane with another teammate. Especially her passive is perfectly designed for this kind of scenario. Leona's abilities mark the enemy target, and when an ally deals some damage towards them, the mark will be consumed and deal some additional damage. Quite simple and effective. So when you are going to gank a Leona Top, you can be sure to collect a kill since she is able to stun the shit out of her laning opponent who can literally go outside, buy an ice, head back home, take a massive shit, go back to his PC just to realize that he is still not capable to move. And even when you and your jungler get counter ganked, doesn't matter. Just kill them both. After the gank, just push the wave out with the explosion effect of Leona's W spell. It's the only thing that deals AoE damage in her kit. But what happens when the enemy top laner draws the Uno reverse card and you get ganked by the enemy jungler instead? Well, at first this might sound like a huge problem, because Leona has no mobility to get away, but she has her own tool to escape this scenario. She can literally tank away all the incoming damage and walk patiently towards her turret. You can even pin them to the ground to buy some time, but most of the time Leona should be fine. So the strategy is walking away. Well, the bait and the gank strategy with Leona is great and all, but you heavily rely on other players. Getting kills on the lane is nearly impossible with a tank that deals no damage at all and has a kit that only consists out of CC spells. Why am I even talking about killing people when it is even impossible to win a trade? But what if I tell you that you can turn this situation around by 180 degrees and win the 1v1 fight instead, by just spending 1000 gold? Sounds too good to be true. Well, it can be realized with this item called Bommy's Cinder. You want to know what it does? Well, it deals some damage while Leona deal or receive some hits. So this means when the fight takes longer, it allows this item to deal more damage over time. A perfect item for this champion who can survive for ages and can't be killed by an ordinary top laner. The enemy will obviously take the fight since he won the lane against you the past 15 minutes. Why should it be different now? And even when he realizes that the fight is going to be close, well, it's already too late since Leona will just stun him until you are going to die. And even escaping is going to be hard thanks to her E-spell that gets through minions and the point-and-click ultimate. But most people just can't believe that they are losing against a Leona in a 1v1 fight, so they will continue the battle until they sit in front of their gray screen.
Hey, fuck this shit, I'm jerking off.
Repeating this process and collecting some kills on other lanes while roaming will grant Leona more and more gold, turning her into an unkillable tank when reaching the late game since she has some great scaling, especially due to this item called Heart Stealer. The best strategy in teamfights would be to engage on the enemy hypercarry and immobilizing her, allowing your teammates to burst her down in an instant. Even when your team can't engage on her, Leona damage is too high that it can be ignored, forcing the enemy team to use all their spells on you. Leona might die to that, but it should buy enough time for your teammate to clean up the battlefield. Her ult also allows you to catch some enemies standing completely out of position. Most of them will try to escape, but the funny thing is they can't. But if you're looking for a more lane-dominant top laner that can kill his opponent with ease and tear the turret down with 4 platings in just a few seconds, click on this video right here.